Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Dexter from Audio Dojo. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you guys exporting in depth. Now, I probably wouldn't underestimate exporting if I was you guys. It might seem like an obvious thing. You're like, why is this guy making an episode all about exporting? Well, do not underestimate the fact that there are restrictions and kind of guidelines about the best way to export your tracks, at least when you're sending it to mixing engineers, uploading it online. You want the best quality, and that means knowing some technical stuff about the best way to export and why you're doing it. Now, there are standards for what exporting options to use for each type of file. Now, this is Logic's exporting window. They're all going to be similar when it comes to Pro Tools, Cubase, Fruity Loops, Ableton, anything you really use. But so really, you can use this for anything. It's not just a Logic exporting tutorial. Thing to remember, WAV files are lossless files. Now, what that means is that you don't lose any quality when exporting them. MP3s, you don't lose any quality either, but you lose some. It might not always be audible, but you want the best possible quality when you're exporting and sending, say, to a mixing engineer, mastering engineer other than yourself. Anything you're really doing where you're not really putting it out for sale on iTunes or uploading it as a final song. If you're really editing it, you want to do it as WAV files. You can also do this as AAIF files, which are another one. FLAC files are another one that you can be using. I normally just go with WAV because it's easier for me. MP3, the max quality you can get for that is 320 kilobytes per second. You can do lower than that if you want an effect for a lower quality sound. I don't know why you would want to do that, but if you really do want to do it, it's a possibility. But for any professional use, always use the 320 kilobytes per second option. So when sending anything, again, remember, I'm going to touch on this again. Sending anything to anyone that's not a listener, if they're another mixing master engineer, even the artist themselves, you're going to want to send them the MP3 as well as a lossless file to make sure they can hear the top quality of it. Now, when you give a mix to a mastering engineer, or another mixing engineer for that matter, there's this thing called resolution. It goes 8-bit, 16-bit, 24-bit. CD quality is 16-bit, so you're going to want to export in that when you're ready for if you're the mastering or mixing engineer that's exporting it for final use, you're going to want to do it in 16-bit. In 24-bit, that's, again, you're going to give the best quality file to the person that's making it as good quality as it can be, like the mixing or mastering engineer. So say I was sending this file over to my friend John Doe, who just masters songs. I'm gonna give him in 24. But if I was John Doe, I would export it in 16-bit to give to the label or whoever's putting it out. Now, it's also iTunes quality. So CD and iTunes quality are the same thing. So 16-bit, it's not gonna sound any worse, but you don't want to lose any resolution while you're editing it. The only time you really have to lose resolution is when you're exporting it for use and listening. The last thing to remember, now this is the thing that I used to use a lot when I first started out, and it's normalizing and overload protection are here. I'm not sure if other tracks have overload protection, but it really doesn't matter because I'm about to tell you. They're pretty much just ghetto ways of mastering. Now, if you just started out and you really don't know how to master, and you can use the normalizing to, say you made a beat and you want to send it to somebody, or your vocals, you want it to sound as loud as possible, definitely do that. It has its place. Don't get me wrong. I don't think the normalizing shouldn't exist, but normalizing it after you mix it, it makes the track louder, but it sacrifices dynamics and the real mix and feeling of the mix. Don't forget the dynamics help to make the mix sound clear. It's not just louder. I know that's where the loudness wars came from, and I know a lot of people think about it, that just making it louder makes it sound clear, but it's not. It sounds like it, but you have to take it really for what it is and remember that you're hearing the final product and it's loud. But there's a lot more stuff gone into it than just boosting the volume on it. If you mix and master in all the ways mentioned in the previous episodes, you will have a clear and loud mix without having to destroy your mix and make it louder with normalizing. Or just boosting the volume up, which is what I used to do when I first started too. Mastering sounds better than normalizing 1,000% of the time. It's not a replacement. If you don't know how to master, you should definitely normalize because you want your stuff to sound good when you're sending it off. But you're watching a dude who made a mastering tutorial, an in-depth mastering tutorial. So you should watch that and learn how to master so you don't ever have to normalize ever again and just get your stuff sounding good. Hopefully the Audio Dojo can help you with that so you never have to make the same mistakes I did just sending distorting ass files over to people. Please don't be like me. Learn from my mistakes. But yeah, as far as this goes, that's probably all you really need to know. Again, there's other options, and if you want to message me privately about that or even leave anything in the comments, I'll definitely respond as soon as I possibly can to help you out with that. But yeah, any questions in the comments, messaging me, visit me at dexterskills.com if you want me to engineer any of your tracks. I'll be happy to do so. But yeah, I'm here for you guys if you need me, and just let me know. Until next episode, later you guys.